Assemblyman Michael Duvall here in California. He represents Fullerton, Anaheim, Orange, Yorba Linda, et cetera, et cetera. He's from Orange County. Hardcore family values Republican. Mm-hmm. Now, Anna, can you guess what happens here?
He got caught in a sex scandal.
Of course! All right, so let's go to the videotape. Let's find out what happened to poor Mike Duvall, and then I'll tell you what the reaction has been since then and what he's decided to do. It's clip number 16.
The man spotlighted is Assemblyman Michael Duvall, who represents parts of Yorba Linda, Fullerton, Anaheim, Placentia, and Orange in Orange County. To protect our sources, we will describe this only as a committee meeting in Sacramento held earlier this summer. The tape is courtesy of the in-house television station used by the state legislature. Duvall is talking to a man next to him. Again, we'll hide his identity. The committee meeting has not begun. Duvall is talking about a very sensitive subject into a hot microphone without realizing it. Much of the conversation can't be repeated for television. Oh, some of it can.
I can hardly read that.
Spanking. It's about spanking.
He then talks about how he's 54 years old and how she is 19 years younger than me, quote. And then at the end of the conversation, he talks about a second woman. According to sources, the women Duvall is referring to are both married and both lobbyists in Sacramento. One works for a firm which represents utility companies, and Duvall is vice chairman of the Utilities and Commerce Committee. Let's make the best out of it. Duvall is married and is considered a staunch Republican and received a perfect 100% score from Capital Resource Institute for, quote, time and time again voting to protect and preserve family values in California. As Duvall sits on the floor of the Assembly doing his best to ignore us, people tell me he's a very gregarious personality. According to sources, he loves to talk about his, quote, sexual conquest. The source goes on to say it makes us all feel very uncomfortable, but it's very difficult to get him to change the subject. We got to talk to you about something. We're going to have to take this outside. We went to Sacramento to try to get reaction from the Assemblyman, but he wanted no part of us. Assemblyman?
This guy's pulling a Mike
I don't mean
Stark.
to be a pester, but we're working on a story that's very important. Sir? Chasing him down the hall, but he was clever enough to go into areas where camera crews are not allowed. Assemblyman, a very important question about audio tapes. Audio tapes, sir. Your very sexual audio tapes. Any comment? We went to his office, and we were told that he was going to be too busy on the Assembly floor. Can't even spend a minute with us. However, numerous times he was not on the Assembly, but rather outside, again, in an area where the media could not go. And 3 times, I wrote him a note, gave it to the Sergeant of Arms, asking for an interview, that it was an urgent matter. The last 2 notes, he simply ignored. According to other sources, Duvall openly would talk about how difficult life can be in Sacramento, telling our source, you know, you got to be real careful with what you say up here because they could have microphones hidden in a salt shaker. Tonight we are told that Duvall is in seclusion since we tried to reach him. He was supposed to have dinner with a group of assemblymen somewhere in Sacramento, but he didn't show up for that.
Wow, what an idiot. I mean, what an idiot. Besides being a sleazy guy, what an idiot. And I mean, what are we talking about? Campaign finance reform. We need to talk about campaign sex exchange reform. Like, what the fuck is that?
I know. Man, look, think about that for a second. Okay, let's break down a couple of things here. Number one, he's hitting 2 different women.
I know.
They're 35, and he looks like that.
I know.
And they're married. Man, it's amazing what power does, isn't it? I mean, who's interested in this dude? But all of a sudden, he's an assemblyman in charge of the Utilities Commission, and he's putting away more tang than he knows what to do with. Okay, literally. And he's whispering to the guy next to him, oh man, she coming in her underwear, and I'm going to put a spanking on her. Okay, and then the other one comes in, and then we made love. A lot. That was one of my favorite parts. Man, it is amazing what power does. And then, seriously, if you're those lobbyists, was it worth it? Was it worth it, your salary, to get some sort of deal from him, from the Utilities Commission, and your poor husband and kids are staying at home while you're with this disgusting 54-year-old guy, who then, and the reason he's disgusting is then he comes out, puts on his clothes, and gives a speech about family values. Oh, Christian this and family values that, and I'll tell you what, right after my next spanking, I'm going to tell you and lecture you more on morality. If anyone is telling you about family values, remember this guy spanking his 2 different lobbyists, okay, and how many times he made love to them. And how I love the part of the report where the reporter was like, the rumors around here, or the reporting around here is that people can't get him to shut up about his sex life. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I did this and I did that. But it shows you, they feel like they're immune.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
Isn't it right? Like, because if I was a family values guy and I'm screwing 2 lobbyists outside of my marriage, I'd shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd be real hush-hush on the QT on it. But this guy's like, hey, did you hear? Oh, yeah, put another one away. Family values, right? That's amazing to me. But that's how the real world works.
By the way, go back to his picture. Doesn't he look like the type of guy who would breathe really heavy?
Oh, then imagine him breathing on you, be like, oh, you want some utilities? Oh, I can give you a utilities deal. Check out my utility. Okay, oh, man.
He'd probably start wheezing like while orgasming. He just looks
that
like that type of guy.
Oh, no.
I'm just speaking the truth. He just looks like that type of guy.
And finally, I love the reporter. First of all, I love his hunched shoulders. He's like this in every report, right? But then when they come to him for the live show, he's like, and reports out of Sacramento are, and then my favorite moment in the whole thing was, we have audio tapes, very sexual audio tapes, as the guy is running away. You go get him, man. That's how you put away crooked politicians. So you want to know what happened to Mr. Duvall?
Yes.
He stepped down today.
Good for him.
Resigned. Booyakasha. Down goes Duvall. Down goes Duvall. Could give him credit. At least he didn't drag it out like Mark Sanford and all the other people, right? But he ran for the hills.
Yeah.